Hello there, we are in the office of Kedge Benge, and in an attempt to learn a little bit about him, I'm going to conduct an interview and ask him some very personal questions. Oh, what's going on here?
No, go ahead.
All right, let's get started. Kedge, what day were you born? What's your birthday?
Yeah, this is funny. April 1st, 1974.
You were born on, shall we say it?
Yeah.
April Fool's Day, very cool. And is there any history behind the name Kedge?
Not really. There's not, as crazy as it is. My mom heard it, she liked it, and stuck me with it, basically.
I like it. It's a good name. Okay, so you have siblings.
Mm-hmm.
In the sibling order, where do you fall?
I am second to last of 9.
Of 9. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so who got to be last? Is that Angel?
Nope. I've got a younger sister,
Oh,
Amanda.
you do? Okay. I don't know if I've met her. And when it comes to birthdays or Christmases, do you have any holidays or birthdays that really stand out to you above other ones?
I really don't. I don't. I mean, we always had big Christmases just because of all of my brothers and sisters. So just other than it was always crazy big.
Yeah.
Nothing really stands out.
Yeah, it never starts small and then gets bigger.
Right.
When there's 9 and you're the second. To
Exactly.
The last one. What about with your siblings? 9 kids together could get into some mischief or some adventures. Did you have anything like that stands out?
You know, I mean, oh man, that's a tough one. To come up with something, I would imagine there's a million of them, but to actually come up with them right now, I don't know anything that stands out. Maybe I'll come
Nobody
back.
flushed a cat down the toilet, or
Oh yeah,
nothing like that. Maybe
flushed a cat.
Do you not know?
He
this?
he doesn't even remember.
You put a cat named Smokey or Stinky or something in the toilet. Shut the lid and flush.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know,
okay, our camera doesn't even remember. So these things happen. The kids just don't grow up and remember them. Yeah, it was funny. It didn't go under.
Talking about pets, we always had a lot of pets. I know Mom and Dad used to have horses and ponies, and we had, believe it or not, actually Shetland ponies, which are the miniature ponies.
Aren't those the biters?
Yeah, and they would come in the house.
Come on.
No, it's true. It is.
Did you ride them in, or they just wandered?
I was so young that I really don't remember it. I just know that sounds like I grew up with horses. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess you might have.
Yeah.
If they're in
Maybe
your
that's
house.
why there wasn't 9 of us. It was all horses.
One of your siblings is which one? Stay tuned. Okay, so when you were young, did you come to church? Did you come to like children's church?
I did not.
So you probably don't have a favorite children's. Well, you might to this day have something.
I started coming to church when I was 24.
Okay.
Was when I first started coming to church. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't get through the we worship thing until when you were older.
Sure.
So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so he found his way into children's church some way or another.
Right. And it was here at Hazelwood when I started coming. First
that's
church.
really neat.
Yep. Didn't have to look.
You started coming to Hazelwood. You got to know some people. What are some really neat memories of maybe your first encounters or just adventures that you shared with Hazelwood members?
You know, I think one thing that always stands out is I noticed the elders right away, in the sense of I respected the elders. For me, not coming to church, and when I was younger, and then seeing the elders get up, whether they would talk in front of the congregation or whatever, all these men, it made me look at the elders so much differently. So I think that stands out in meeting people would be the elders of the church.
So even though you were 24 when you first came, you were very young when you learned to respect your elders.
There you go.
Okay, tell us a little bit about as you were growing up, and every man's idea is, time to get married. How did you meet your lovely wife?
I met her. She moved to my school. I went to Eminence, and she came to my school, and I think it was 6th grade.
So did you notice her right away?
Honestly, yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
Chased her for a long time.
Did she notice you?
I was very, very, very shy, and she teases me to this day about it. She didn't know me because I was so shy.
So you were looking at her and thinking she was pretty, but
sure.
She wouldn't have looked at you because you were not willing to.
Yep.
You couldn't say anything. Okay, so what about the proposal?
It was. It's kind of funny. She basically proposed to me.
Wow.
Yeah. It was. Let's just get married. What are we doing? So we dated for a while off and on, and then it was let's just get married. And I said okay.
So being the shy boy.
Yep, being the shy one. Yes.
Okay, so when you were married, everybody usually has a funny little story or some crazy memory. What would stand out about your wedding day?
What stands out about my wedding day? The gentleman that married us. Just my wife, I know if she's seeing this, is laughing right now. The expression on his face. He was just a weird individual, and I'll never forget it. The way that he would say something to us, and we would, of course, you repeat your vows and stuff like that, and we couldn't stop laughing. We was laughing at each other, and this guy's, it was just comical. Yeah. So the guy that married us, that's what really stands out.
So he was weird, but was not like a dangerous weird. But like
no, not dangerous weird, but quirky. Very good word for that. Absolutely.
It wasn't Jim Chamberlain, was it? I'm just kidding. Okay. Through what series of events did you end up in your ministry here at Hazelwood?
It literally one day it clicked, and that's that's as honest as can be. Something told me that I wanted to do more, be more involved in the children's ministry. Up to that point, I had been helping out in the children's ministry, but one day I literally woke up and thinking, I got to do something about this, and it was a couple years ago. Came in, talked with John, told him I was interested in being more involved, and from that point on, now we're where we are here, which is, I would have to say, a surprise to me.
Yet God was preparing your heart.
Watch out what you pray for.
You came to this office to talk about it. Look where you still are. Okay, tell about any interesting encounters that you had, neat memories that you have with the people of Hazelwood. There are a lot of characters, a lot of fun people. You've probably got a story or two.
Definitely. I actually knew a lot of people that attend here just before I even started attending, whether through Eminence or whatever. So I've known a lot of people even coming to the church. But some interesting things that I've done or that's been involved with Hazelwood would be mission trips. I've went on a few of them. A lot of fun. You're aware of one of them. I woke up. Actually, I fell asleep in the bus, and I woke up, and some of the hair I think might have been removed from my leg.
In the shape of Texas.
In the shape of Texas, yes. So
we were in Texas. We were bored.
Why don't you tell the story? I'm pretty sure you might know more about it because I was asleep while you were doing that.
Why don't we ask Tammy Blakely? Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, and mission trip was one, and then I've been involved with a few lock-ins and stuff, so which is cool. A lot of fun with the kids and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're not working here at Hazelwood, and when you're doing your favorite things, what are those things?
I like to play basketball. Don't do it as much as I want to, but that's something I always like to do is play basketball and then work outside, work out in the yard.
Okay. We take vacations, and are there any vacations that you remember a funny memory from?
Yeah, I do. We, me and the family go camping a lot, and probably it's 4 or 5 years ago we got our first camper. It was a pop-up, and I'd went camping before, but never pulled anything, never had a trailer or anything. So, as being the man, and taking his family, I was all prepared. We got there. It was late at night, pouring down rain, and so I wanted to get the pop-up up as much as I could to get the family in out of the rain. So I got it up and told him go ahead and get in, and I'll finish everything else up. And I had forgot to put the leveling jacks down on the camper. So when they got in, the camper tipped, and all I heard was the kids screaming on the inside, and so they had to jump from one end to the other, and it was pretty comical. But first time going camping, Yeah, that would be a memorable trip for sure.
Is that why they call it a pop-up?
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
They have to run for the high side.
Yes. Yeah.
Get them ready for rafting.
And they remind me of it every time we go now.
Please don't put us through that. What are some things that you've always wanted to do, or places you've always wanted to go?
Places that I've wanted to go. I would love. I want to travel the United States. Me and my wife have always talked about it. Later on when we retire, and that's something that we want to do. So just kind of travel and just see everything. I'm not a type of person that needs to go out of the country or anything like that. I mean, it'd be fun, but I would. I'm interested in traveling the States and just seeing things and going camping and visiting everywhere like that. And then another thing would be something I've always wanted to do would be skydive.
Tell us a little bit about why you would want to skydive.
It is a fear. It's a fear of mine, but I just find it exciting. I even want to. Wait, like when so you go tandem because you don't know what you're doing, so they make sure you're safe. And like when you're supposed to pull it, I want the guy to wait just a second and then pull it. It's just fun. But so yeah, that's what I want to do.
And do you feel like you could get your nerve up and go out of the plane?
No, I would have to take somebody along with me so they could push me. I'll need to be pushed because I wouldn't want to do it. I'd back out, but I would need to be pushed. But once you're out,
So do you think you could sell lottery tickets for that?
Yeah, there might be a few people that would like to push. I'll tell you what, whoever wants to push me, they can pay for it. They pay for my skydive, and I'll let them push me.
And then wait before they pull the door. All right, what's your favorite Bible passage or story?
Favorite Bible story or passage? All right. Again, she's got me.
Come on.
I know it's like I know, but you just threw it out there. It's like if you asked me this and that wasn't on, it'd been like, boom.
Well, pretend it isn't.
Oh, it's off, isn't it?
Oh, whoops!
Is it off?
Accidentally hit a button. It's off. We'll just practice.
Okay, right. I love in the Bible. I love reading Numbers. That's a joke. That's totally.
Because I was like, he's left brain.
Oh, Numbers is fantastic. I love it. No, I'm just kidding. Matthew, Mark, I love the telling the story, and not just anyone in particular, but just all of the disciples, talking about Jesus, and they actually lived it and seen it and was there. That's what I love in the Bible. They're telling us what we can do and what to look for and what's going on, and then they actually experienced it. That's what I love when I'm reading the Bible, to pull that stuff out.
What has been your favorite thing about stepping into this role?
Finally being able to tell people what to do. No, I'm just kidding. That was on film, wasn't it? With me going to John 2 years ago, and not knowing where it was going to lead, and for it to have led to where it is now, it's so. To me, it's an affirmation of where I started 2 years ago. So that to me is what's awesome. And I don't want to make it about myself, because as a children's director, it's not. This isn't about me. It's about church and the kids and teaching them and furthering the kingdom. But I feel like God is guiding and directing me, and the only thing that I can do and only know to do is to follow His directions. So that's where in this role now where I'm at, I feel like where God has been leading me, it feels like I've been listening to His guidance and directions. So, and that's where. So to be here now it's awesome, and I look forward to wherever it leads.
Yeah, very good. Don't you think it's kind of faith affirming that He told you that 2 years ago, and you had no idea what the future was, and boom, here it is. Yep. To me, that makes Him very, very real.
I would have never put myself here 2 years ago, and that's not to. 2 years ago was not. This is not what I thought I would be doing. But when you ask for something, and it's interesting how he finally leads and directs you. Because 2 years ago I was going in a totally different direction before coming and offering to do more or wanting to do more. So it's really neat to see that this is where I am now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To answer
good.
your question, if I didn't answer good enough, or with that, but and you're gonna have to edit a lot of this. But you had some of it says thing I didn't ask you that you would like people to share with people. My grandmother planted the seed in me years ago, a long time ago, and I had no clue until just recently that it was my grandma that had done it. I'd always given Brandy that credit, and whether that credit is need to be given or whatever,
Sure.
She knew that, I told her that, she planted the seed and Hazelwood's watered it and went from there. But, this actually happened many years ago, and I didn't realize it till just recently that it was my grandma that had planted the seed. And many people have just watered it since then. So, to me, 2 years ago is when I felt something, but many years ago, back in the mid 80s, is when it was actually, put on me, and not even realizing it till later. It was neat to recognize that it had been planted in me years ago.
So how did she do that? Did she say like some words or?
My grandmother was an amazing woman, and the most humble lady you'll ever meet. If you didn't know her, you called her grandma. She was just awesome that way. And she did one thing that I loved, and I've learned from her, is she never forced it on us. She lived it. So she never really brought it to me and said it. There wasn't a specific day where she came and said it, or I realized this was the day she planted the seed. But her life that she lived is what planted the seed in me. So, and I only knew my grandmother for about 8 years. So she has inspired me more than anybody ever has in my life, and that's not to take away from anybody, but for her to have done that in just the 8 years that I knew her, was just fantastic. So, but it's neat to realize that where it came from and where it all started.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Is this over finally?
Hey!
Thank you.
Was it painful? Don't you like to talk about yourself? I do.